And welcome to the Play Space. Keith Avalone from Play Games. Sam is producing tonight's show. Thanks for taking a break from the NFL draft to check in on our vintage baseball season announcement. Last year, we started expanding our fictional baseball universe by adding a new vintage season. That was the 1974 Continental League. And tonight we will add a new vintage season to the collection. This all started a couple years ago with a discussion that I had with Bear Merrithew from the Play Games community. He was interested in putting together a Baseball America Hall of Fame. Of course, Baseball America started in 2013, our fictional contemporary baseball league, and he was using the traditional guidelines of, a player had to have been retired 5 years and, get so many votes and stuff like that. Well, it was a very scant number of people who would even qualify for the Hall of Fame. So we started talking about, well, maybe there was some history before 2013. And that's when we began to talk about possible vintage seasons for Baseball America. And then along came the Continental League, which we introduced a few Christmases ago, which was sort of a faux fictional league. It's got real players in a fictional context, like what if the 1961 Continental League had actually played. And then we also have the Century League, which was set up as sort of a 1940s baseball league, fictional. And we started talking about how could we tie this all together. And last year we came up with a plan. And then we began fleshing out that plan. So that's what tonight's all about. We're going to introduce our new vintage season. And now that I've sort of set the stage, our new vintage season will be from the Century League. It'll be the 1954 Century League season. So how did this come together? It was not as easy as you might think. Or maybe you don't think it is easy, because it really isn't. I started the process by taking a close look at the original Century League season cards. There are 270 cards in that set. And of course, there are icons and prospects, and you sort of have to age the set 8 years forward. So most of the icons are going to be, pushing 40, if not past 40. So most of those guys are not going to be in the 1954 set. There will be a sprinkling of some, but not so many. The prospects from the 1946 Century League, we decided through our timeline that the Century League would officially start in 1946, post-war. And the guys that were prospects in that year would, in 1954, be in their late 20s, early 30s, and would probably be in the prime of their career. So essentially, went player by player, looking at each one and establish an actual age for each player arbitrarily, and then built the set from that. So using normal rates of attrition, about a quarter of the original Century League is still playing in 1954, meaning that of the 270 players or so, that's about 70 or so players, meaning about 200 new players have migrated into the league, over the subsequent 8 years. So that's how I put together the composition of the league in terms of age and demographics. The actual average age of the league is slightly lower than the American and National Leagues of 1954. I believe it's about a year younger, but I did pay attention to ages, so the distributions are accurate. The team nicknames and so forth were already established with the Play Baseball timeline. I put together that list last year. Just to recap, there's the Century League in 46, the Continental League in 61. They run side by side until 1974, when they merge to become, they assume the Continental League name, but some of the Century League teams are absorbed into the Continental League. They continue on until rebranding as Baseball America in 2013. That's basically the history. Last year, we introduced the 1974 Continental League, which was the first year of the merger of the Century League and Continental League. And so tonight we're going backwards to 1954. So there were essentially 5 current Baseball America teams whose roots are in the Century League: Boston, Chicago, Milwaukee, New York, and St. Louis. Let's go ahead and take a look at the cards. I'm going to put this timeline aside. First of all, let's go to the table cam. This is the look that we're going for. These are actual 1954 Topps baseball cards. So this is what we wanted our Century League cards to look like. They have sort of this feel. So let's go ahead and show you how they turned out. This is the intro sheet that will come with the set, and then we'll flip it over, and here we go. So we have the Minutemen, Boston Minutemen. They're not the New England Minutemen, Boston. And I don't know that we're going to go player by player, but I'll just point out some of the holdovers from the Century League. You got Go-Go Greatman at first base. Is this not?
No, that's fine. I'm going
to scoot it down a little bit. All right. Cactus Ritter, who is, I think, like the first card in the original Century League set. Long Ball Benson. I believe those are the major ones. I'll just quickly thumb through. Here's the Milwaukee Barrelman with Beer Bottle Burley. As it turned out, he happened to actually play for Milwaukee, so there he is. Beer Bottle Burley is playing for the Barrelmen. Cha-Cha Morel, who's one of the stars of the league. Slammin' Sammy Solorzano is still hitting him out of the park. He was much younger in 1946, but he's still able to hit it out of there. There's the rest of the Barrelmen. Now, the Philadelphia Oaks, they are a team that will not last into the Continental League later on. They will most likely be at the bottom of your standings. They do have some familiar players, though. Scoreboard Scott is in there from the original Century League. Sarge Allard, the scrappy shortstop. Who else is in here? Buzzard Lum. There's Frying Pan Pogue, one of my favorites. He's I believe 40 years old. A semi workman now in 1954, but still throwing the ball and playing for Philadelphia. St. Louis, the Showboats. Who we got here that we? There's Rabbit Dennison. I know is a holdover. Most of these guys are fairly new, I guess. They got a younger team. Vern Moxon is one of their top stars, the shortstop, scrapping shortstop. Kid Speller, though, is a holdover, I know. Then the Chicago Brawlers. This is the first. Well, let's see. They changed their name from the Robins to the Brawlers in '51. So they're obviously still one of the Continental or the Baseball America teams. They've made it all the way through to the 2024 season. They have their 60-year history or 70-year history. Who we got in here that I recognize? Ed Merker, the catcher. Cowboy Keck, the big closer, one of the top stars of the league. Vic Aragon, one of the better pitchers. Here's the New York Skyliners with Hank Metter. Who else we got here? Fudge Lund is a holdover. Dean Savage, I believe. Yes, Dean Savage, Frank Argueta. Steamboat Renfro, one of the 46 sets. Here's the Cleveland Stevedores. Artie Ewell, one of the top stars in the league, one of the best top catchers, top hitting catchers, also pretty good defensively. Jerry Robinette. Axe Henderson, I know, is a holdover from the original Century League. Tom Jankowski. There's Knuckleball Doll. Still knuckling it. Here's the Newark Blue Sox. This is their first year in Newark. They were bounced out of Baltimore by the Orioles in '54, so they are playing in Newark this year. And they got Tex Belson. They got some good players. Lincoln Robinson, Tex Belson, Joey Cavano, one of the Cavano brothers. There's Digger Dowett. And then, so those are the 8 teams that populate the league. Then the set also comes with a set of 42 free agent players, which you can assign as you wish. We will use these players as a pool for future Century League seasons. And they've got, they're not marked with a team, obviously, and they've got kind of a salmon-colored background. And there's a good number of them. There are a couple of hidden gems in there. And then we decided to go ahead with the pitcher batting cards for this set. There are 9 different pitcher batting cards of varying abilities, and each of the pitchers has a number. Rather than, using this part of the page. And Millie's down here digging. She's nesting. Can you hear that? That's my dog. She's making a nest right next to me. Millie, what are you doing? All right. So those are the pitcher batter cards. There's a set for each team. So you have 2 sets of those. And these are the ballpark cards. You can see the Century League logo on there. There are 18 stadiums. And again, there was some work involved in developing a timeline for the stadiums as well, because the current Baseball America stadiums are all, obviously new stadiums. The 74 stadiums are some that were like built in the 60s and 70s, and some that were holdovers, a few holdovers from the Century League. And again, this is sort of halfway in between. So we have, Al Wilson Stadium, of course, is still here. War Memorial Park, Richter Field from the original Century League. I've got the years the stadiums were built printed below. So you got Empire Park, built in 1935, Greater Metro Park in 1930. And there are some newer stadiums, too, new for 1954. I think the newest stadium is, the Pimlico Park, which was built in 1950. Then Southtown Stadium in 1949. So the stadiums have history as well, and some of them will be phased out over the years as time moves on. Here are the umpire cards that come with the set. There are 20 umpires, enough for 5 crews, which is more than enough for an 8-team league. And again, we have some holdovers from the original Century League. Earl the Hammer Gilchrist, you may remember, Clyde Mora, Eddie the Thumb McDonald. And there are some new ones as well, some new umpires that have just joined the Century League for the 54 season, or joined between 46 and 54. And so there's that. And there's the cover sheet, has background information here, and then there's a list of all the holdover players from the original Century League cards. Each team has, as you can see, maybe a half dozen, between 8 and 10 holdover players. They're not all playing for the same teams they were playing for in 1946. Some of them moved around. Some have stayed with their same team. I think Dixie McCormick is still with the Oaks, and their ages are printed here as well. So there's Brian Panpogo. Like I said, he's 40 years old. Dixie McCormick is 39. But a lot of these guys are in their early 30s. Some even in their late 20s. So that is the 1954 Century League for History Maker Baseball. Now, I mentioned there were actually 2 new vintage sets. We're still on the table cam, right? Mm-hmm. 2 new vintage sets. What I did was I redid the original Century League cards, because I felt like some people would want to play with the assigned cities. So this is what that set now looks like with the team version. We're going to offer it in 2 different versions starting tonight. So this is the team version that has the teams. You get Boston. Now, I didn't add color to these because I was looking at baseball trading cards from the 1940s, and really they were black and white. So I felt I'm just going to leave them black and white, add the logo, and we're good to go. It does have 1946 printed here on the bottom, though, and each of the players, they got their ratings, and then they've got the Century League logo, in the background. Now, I did reorganize these cards. One of the things that I didn't like about the Century League set, the original Century League set, was that the cards were all, it was like you'd have 18 guys from Team 1, and then you go to Team 2 for the next page, then Team 3 for the next page, and then you come back and get some more players for Team 1, like 9 pages in, and then at the end there was more scattering of players for Team 1. It was like they were all scattered throughout the set. So I redid them, grouped all the players in the same team in the same order, basically. So all the Boston players are right up front, and then come the Milwaukee players, and then come the Philadelphia players, and so on. There's Scoreboard Scott right there. We were just talking about him. So that's the city version. We have a separate version. If for some people who'd rather have their own identities, we've created. It's the same card set, but it looks a little different. So this again has like Team 1 here, Team 2 instead of the city names, and the Century League logo is pictured in the bottom left corner of the card. Other than that, the cards are identical. But you have your choice of whether you want to go with our universe or create your own universe, depending on which set you like to use. So there you go. The 54 Century League is now available on our website. Is it available, or did we make it live yet?
I haven't made it live.
I didn't make it live either. All right, it's going to go live here in like 15 seconds. And you can read more about it. There's, by the way, there's a pretty thorough breakdown of the set included on the product page. So if you're unfamiliar with our fictional universe, it'd be a good place to start. Interesting read, if nothing else, at PLAAY.com. Just click on the, I imagine the icon, the product icon will show up on the front page here very shortly. And that's our show for tonight. I got to get up early tomorrow to get on a plane and go to Milwaukee. So we got to cut this stream a little bit short. I'm actually really very excited about the big meetup in Milwaukee. All day Saturday at Odd Willows Game Haven in Mukwonago, Wisconsin. Thank you, Travis Jansen, for putting this together. I do want to say, I mentioned this in the blog, in our Connect blog post. This is a casual event. It's informal. There's no set itinerary. It's a potluck event. It's just a meetup. Bring the game that you want to play or games, and be prepared to play them with somebody else who you meet there. The folks at Odd Willows have been super accommodating for us, and we're really looking forward to having a great time starting at 10 a.m. Saturday in suburban Milwaukee. The other thing is the Play Connect. We posted this information in the Play Connect, the Play Connect e-newsletter. That's our replacement for the emailed newsletter that we've been doing for the past couple of years. The Connect is on our blog post section. Just click on the blog section, or you'll see it if you scroll down. It's got all the latest information on what's going on in the world of play and kind of a look ahead for the next 30 days. So if you want to get caught up to what we're doing, what we're in the middle of, what's ahead for later this fall, take a look at the eConnect, the Connect e-newsletter. And also, of course, there are some great freebies included this month. Next week, it's our Wrestling America Federation 2025 Impact Show. We sort of set the stage for this stream a few weeks ago when we did our Commissioner's Edict program, where the commissioner made his proclamations as to who's in, who's out for the new Wrestling America Federation card set, and who's on the bubble. There's about a dozen wrestlers who need to win to stay in, or else they'll be unceremoniously shown the door. So we will conduct those matches next week, Thursday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Play Games YouTube channel. So join us then, I hope. Join us in Wisconsin. Either way, we're looking to see you again soon, right here on the Play Games YouTube channel.